Good afternoon, guys, ladies and gentlemen. This is British Computer Guy, or my British Computer Guy, or Only One Tricky if you follow me on the gaming platforms. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick review of a product I purchased recently that I'm not overly impressed with. As you know, I'm a big fan of the SteelSeries line of products. I've got a keyboard, I've got the Apex Pro keyboard, I've got the SteelSeries, the Arctis 7Xs, the headset. I've got two of the Aerox. I've got an Aerox mouse, a Rival mouse, all RGB, and I've got the mouse pad. So I really like the products. And for the most part, the products, they're a really good build. And one thing I saw online the other day, I saw an advert for these SteelSeries prismcaps. And they differ from the regular keyboard caps because they have this little white band around the bottom that lets more RGB out. So they're supposed to be a lot brighter. And I thought, oh, cool, okay, I can kind of mix and match some of my regular keys that don't have the white band around them and make them stand out more for when I'm playing games. So basically, I got them in. They came in. I got them from Amazon. They were $29.99, I believe. Came in pretty quick. Got them an overnight delivery with Amazon Prime, and I installed them. So I was thinking, oh great, this is going to be great. And to start off with, I did the whole keyboard, and I thought, oh wow, this looks really cool. I turned it on, and it was just the default kind of RGB glow. It wasn't. None of my keys were mapped or anything. I thought, this is going to look really cool. So anyway, I decided to go ahead and open up the SteelSeries GG software and mapped a couple of the keys. And the first thing I noticed, the first thing I noticed was the amount of bleed. When I say bleed, and I'll show you here in a second, because of that white band around the bottom, when you have a whole bunch of these keys next to each other and you change the colors individually of each key, it's very difficult to tell what color that key actually is without looking at the top of the key, because there's so much bleed. If you have maybe some green around a red, the green is a much more dominant color on the spectrum, and it wipes out the red. You can't see the red at all, and also it's very difficult to differentiate the green from the blue. So for my purposes, it's not going to work for me. I like to be able to play my games. I like to be able to map my keys to certain bindings, and I like to have RGB, different colors on different keys. So say for example my plates, the button I use to plate up in Warzone, I think it's G. I normally have that blue, I believe it is. So when that's close to the other keys, it was just really difficult to see. So honestly, the RGB looks better coming out the top of the keycap than it does out the bottom. If you're buying these keycaps and all you're going to use it for is because you want a colourful keyboard and you're not bothered for gaming, you're not bothered for mapping individual keys to certain colours, and you just want that nice pattern, then I say go for it. It looks fantastic, it really does. And you can probably see in the corner of this screen there, I've got a few of the keys, and from a distance it looks great. But you can kind of see the red button there. I think it's the E. That's the red button, but it looks kind of green. Okay, so let me show you here real quick. Okay, so this is, I installed it on a few of the keys just to see what it looked like. So the S is actually a blue, the E is a red, the R is a yellow, and W and D are green, as is A. So if you look carefully, you can't tell that E is red other than by looking at the actual designation on top of the letter on top of it, which is really unfortunate. Okay, whereas you see these keys, they're really bright. You can tell what they are quite easily. The red is not that bright, even on top. It's not as bright as some of the original keys. And the reason for this is another of my gripes, is that the actual font is different on the new keycaps. They're using a skinnier font, whereas the traditional ones, the original ones, is more of a bold font. So the bold font is letting more light through. The skinnier font is letting less light through, so it's not as bright. It's a bit of a pain. The other thing is the keys don't exactly match on the tops. They have a slightly different shape and a different profile, I think there's a little less surface space on the original keys, and they're a little bit broader on the top of the replacement keys. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're replacing your whole keyboard with these, then I'm sure it's fine. And they also have a little texture to them, which I do kind of like. The original keys are kind of smooth. I don't know if that's just because I've used the heck out of this thing, but I suspect that they were kind of smooth when I got them. I do like these Prism keycaps. I just wish that I wasn't having this bleed issue with the keys. When it was all lit up, it looked great, but as I say, I had a lot of keys mapped to certain colours, and I couldn't tell which one was which just by looking at the colours. What SteelSeries would have been better off doing is, instead of having the white band around the bottom, is maybe put the white band around the top, and actually on the top facing up and out like the letters, not facing kind of down and to the sides where it's going to bleed against all the other keys and you can't tell what colour the other keys are. That's from a functionality standpoint. A couple of other things to mention. It did come with a keycap puller. Excuse me. Did come with a keycap puller, so you can easily extract the keycaps, which is great. They also came vacuum packed. You do get a pack of, I think, 15 non-standard keys as well. So if you have maybe a non-Apex keyboard with the same style key, excuse me, then they should fit, and you should have sufficient options for different size space bars. You do get an extra a regular space bar with the standard set. There are 104 keys in total of the main set, and you get those extra 15 to be able to customize it a little bit if you've got a different brand of keyboard. Other things to mention. On the F9 through 12 buttons on my particular keyboard, you do have extra icons. Not too sure what some of these do, but that's often a brightness indicator to increase and decrease brightness. The replacement keys only have the F numbers, F10, F11, etc. Didn't quite like that. So, but I get it. I mean, they wanted to have a generic keycap set that anyone could use, because I'm sure not all SteelSeries keyboards have these extra bits of functionality. Another thing, and once again, same reasoning on these buttons here, like the insert, home, page up, down, end, and delete. You've got the some sort of M function designation on there. I'm assuming some sort of memory option. I don't really know. I haven't really researched it, but you don't get the M letters on there at all. You just get insert, home, page up, page down, etc. Okay. Those are my only concerns. Say if you were buying this keyboard because you wanted to have a nice aesthetic in your office, if you've got a lot of RGB, maybe your PC's got RGB inside it with RGB fans and all that kind of stuff, and your monitor's got the RGB lighting, which like mine does, then yeah, it'll look fantastic. It really will. But from a practical standpoint, it is not very practical at all. I think that's about all I've got to say on the matter. I am going to be returning these, unfortunately. I mean, I only have 29 subscribers. If I get a few more subscribers out of this, awesome. I will post more videos. I'm going to post videos anyway. Like it a lot. If you do like this video, if you did find it helpful, please share it with anybody who's thinking about buying these. They are available, say, on Amazon or from SteelSeries' website. They are $29.99 at this time, and this time being January the 31st, 2023. They're really nice. They look really good when you replace them all, but from a functionality standpoint, if you're a gamer, you probably will not like the effect. It's a little bit too confusing, especially if you've got your lights dimmed down low. It all just bleeds together and you can't really tell what's what. So SteelSeries, if you happen to see this, my advice for you is get rid of this white business around the bottom, put a little white kind of circle maybe around the top, do away with the bit in the bottom, make the font a little bit bigger, well, not necessarily bigger but bolder, so it actually lets more light through. Because this just doesn't seem to, I mean, the G here and the L here, it's difficult to kind of tell on this screen, but the L looks a lot brighter than the top of the G. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of bummed. I really did like these. I thought it was going to work really well, but they are going to be going back. That's my review of the SteelSeries prism caps. Hope you enjoyed. Please hit that like, hit the subscribe button, and we also check out my friends' channels as well. The guy who turned me on to SteelSeries in the first place is Mr. Blaze2K. He has an awesome YouTube channel, and he does a lot of Twitch gaming under a different handle. Check out his channel, drop a like, subscribe. He has lots of really good content posted daily. He has a lot more subs than I do, so I'm sure he'd appreciate it, but you'll really enjoy his channel. I know I do. But guys, thanks for watching, appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks now, bye bye. One other thing I forgot to mention in my original video, and I just added this as an add-on, I'm going to edit it in somewhere, but when you press shift on the keyboard, typically you know exactly where the you know exactly what's going to come up on the key when you press the key. So if I do shift 4, I get a $sign. Now what they've done with the new keys is they've actually put everything to the side, so they're side by side. Excuse me, which is kind of problematic. Okay, and the reason being, you get so used to knowing where the when you press shift that you're going to get either the top or the bottom character. Now you have to figure out when you press shift, is it the left or the right character. With the numerics, it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy. And I have a numeric here, so there's the number 2, and it's got the @ symbol next to it. So if I do shift, I know it's going to be on the one on the right. Okay, on some of the ones over here further down, like these, when you've got semicolon and colon next to each other, and you've got the quotation mark and the apostrophe next to each other, side by side, left right, it's really difficult to figure out which one's which. And especially when you get up here to things like the little, I don't know what you call that, is it a tilde? I'm not sure, I can't remember. And also, the replacement one of these has the tiniest little one of those accent marks. It's barely, you can barely see it even when it's lit up. But yeah, it was really annoying to have all these like the parentheses. You can kind of see that they're side by side. I mean, how silly! That's just silly. I mean, really, why don't you have them top bottom like you do here? Makes it a lot easier to find. I press that shift button, I know which one I'm going to get. Whereas press the shift button on one of these, I don't know, is it left or is it right? Keep me constantly thinking. Anyway, didn't much care for that. So that was the last bit. Thanks for watching.